Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. This video is going to be inaccurate in about 10 minutes, so let's hurry through this bitch perna. Now, we are in an odd football year in that a lot of premier QBs were drafted, 5 in the first round, and 3, maybe 4 of them are in battles to earn the starting job. That's a little odd. Now, throw in third-year quarterback Drew Lock competing for and apparently losing the gig with Teddy Bridgewater, the Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston push in NOLA, and whatever the hell is happening in Houston, and the quarterback battles are just plain batty. I don't recall a year where there was this much uncertainty at the position heading into the start of the season, so today I want to predict the winning quarterback for all of the battles. That's good. Subscribe or don't. I don't give 2 shits, which is exactly the number of shits I had today. Courtesy of Benchwarmer Brew, my personal coffee brand. Look, I kid about my coffee, but I am really fucking proud of this. We have 3 blends now. Mine, the backup blend, Urinating Trees Armchair Blend, 5 points, 5 points blend. Great original name, 5 points. But we have ethically sourced, very good coffee. If you're into quality coffee, this is for you. And if you sign up for the subscription service at BenchwarmerBrew.com, it is the cheapest way to get the coffee. We are working our asses off to try to get cheaper shipping, but that ain't easy. But either way, if you want to support this channel or those other channels that I mentioned, this is a great way to do it, and I am super proud of this company. So, by my count, there are 7 quarterback battles that have yet to be decided. So I wanted to check in and see where each of them stack up, starting right here in Denver, Colorado. We've got Drew Lock versus Teddy Bridgewater. Now this one might be the closest battle of them all. It looked like Drew Lock was going to run away with it, but just when you thought it was safe, Teddy Two Gloves had a really solid showing with the first team against Seattle. Checking it down with tremendous accuracy, and even pushing the ball downfield a couple of times. Literally twice by my count. He also converted a few 4th downs, which many discredit because it's preseason. Well, maybe Vic Fangio is going to go for it a ton on 4th down and thinks steady 3-yard Teddy is the perfect weapon for the job. Meanwhile, Drew Lock looked a little hamstrung with the 2nd unit against the Seahawks, running for his life at times, but all that chaos did give us this sweet shovel pass to Seth Williams. I love the creativity and improv skills Lock showed on this play. Just please don't fucking try this in the regular season. Ultimately, I still think Drew Lock will win the starting job. But with how even Teddy has been through 2 games, the Broncos could easily make a switch if it's not working in the first couple of weeks during the regular season. I give a slight edge to Drew Lock. That's my feeling. I think he should start. Everyone in Denver, though, including Broncos voice, secret voice on Twitter, Mike Kliss, and our news god Adam Schefter, have hinted Teddy will win the job. If true, if Teddy starts, you can double down on criticizing this team for not drafting Justin Fields. The reasoning behind that non-pick was to be fair to Drew Lock, and I can't find one logical bit of thinking that coincides with being fair to Drew Lock if you keep him on the bench. That would indicate everything you thought about Drew Lock was wrong, which means you were wrong about the most important part of your job: quarterback evaluation. Then we've got Justin Fields versus Matt Nagy in Chicago. The only person in Chicago who wants to see Andy Dalton start week 1 is Matt Nagy. I'd say Andy Dalton's wife, but she still lives in Dallas. Justin Fields will start, the final preseason game play for about 2.5 quarters. Matt Nagy has said Andy Dalton will start week 1, so this isn't a QB battle, but I think there's a good chance Justin Fields starts at some point in September. Either because Andy Dalton plays like Andy Dalton, or he retires suddenly after being pulverized behind that O-line. Then we've got Trevor Lawrence versus Gardner Minshew in the Jaguars. Welcome to the David versus Goliath of quarterback battles. Trevor Lawrence has played in 2 preseason games, and honestly, it's hard to get a gauge on where he's at, considering how bad the Jags' offensive line looked in New Orleans. Now, I'm not saying they should have drafted a tackle instead of running back Travis Etienne. It's just that they should have absolutely done that. Etienne is already hurt, by the way, having sustained some sort of Liz Frank injury. Trevor Lawrence needs to protect himself too. Just look at this hit. Someone's got to remind Trevor that John Elway only helicoptered because it was the Super Bowl. You don't have to try that shit in week 2, Trevor, of the preseason. You slide, or you run out of bounds, or you throw the football as hard as you can at your opponent's dick. Teach them a lesson for coming at you. Now, Trevor Lawrence did draw some attention with this throw to Marvin Jones where he sidesteps the pressure. It's a nice throw, but I'm scared he's going to have to sidestep the pressure to complete any passes this season, and I doubt Marvin Jones will always be this wide open. So I wonder if Urban Meyer realizes his line isn't where it needs to be and decides to send Gardner Minshew out there week 1 as the sacrificial lamb. Maybe that's why he's the only coach on earth who ever got the first overall pick, took a QB, and then said, we've got a competition here. Guess what? This plan will backfire, Urban, because Minshew is a lion, not a lamb. Trevor Lawrence merely adopted to the dark. Minshew was born in it. Seriously though, please trade Gardner Minshew somewhere so he can start. Trevor Lawrence starts week 1 for the Jags, my prediction. Taysom Hill versus Jameis Winston in New Orleans. Okay, fine, maybe the Saints will be better than I predicted in my prediction series this offseason without Drew Brees. Thanks to a hot start by Jameis Winston, who looked damn good against the Jags first teamers. He went 9 of 10 for 123 yards and a pair of touchdowns, both to Marquez Callaway. I mean, just look at this one. It's a dime. The Saints have to feel better about their wide receiver situation as well. Marquez made 2 of the most impressive touchdown grabs of the preseason, and he did them both in the same game. This one-hander is insane. Most importantly, though, no turnovers for Jameis Winston. We all know Winston can sling it. He's an equal opportunity quarterback. For most QBs, that means they spread the ball around to all of their receivers. For Winston, historically, it has meant that he spreads the ball around equally to both teams. Taysom Hill did not play as well as Winston, though he did throw a nice-looking touchdown to Lil Jordan Humphrey, Lil Hump. Taysom is the least complete QB I've ever seen. I think he will always provide a mixed bag, with the positive slightly outweighing the negative. Damn, I think that applies to Jameis Winston too. I'd start Taysom Hill just to see Jameis clap like this every week. Does Jameis Winston do anything that looks normal? Now, Hill's not really close to Winston in terms of passing talent. He can be wildly inaccurate at times, but also serviceable, and he's certainly not a waste of a roster spot if he is not starting. I think Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill both win the job. Winston Hill. That sounds like a great, great leader. The leader the Saints need. Ironic though, since they have to remove the word church due to conflicting messages between Catholicism and Mormonism. Winston is your starter, and Hill comes in like he did with Drew Brees, just more frequently. Basically, Sean Payton needs to develop a spidey sense. A spidey sense for when famous Jameis is going to turn the ball over, and then insert Hill. He does that, Saints can succeed. And then the least talked about QB battle, Tyrod Taylor versus Davis Mills in Houston. I'm not sure this has even been officially listed as a battle, but with the way Davis Mills played against the Cowboys, you might want to think about getting him in the lineup. Why the hell not? You are the Houston Texans, and nothing fucking matters. Besides, great things happen when young quarterbacks take over for Tyrod Taylor. Mills looked solid against Dallas, certainly not perfect, but I think he was poised enough to earn a shot at the starting job sooner rather than later. Tyrod Taylor should stay away from shots, however. That's how Justin Herbert won Rookie of the Year last season. Obviously, right now, I will give the edge to Tyrod. I went a whole segment talking about Texans quarterbacks without mentioning Deshaun Watson. So I think I should be given an award. Then we've got Cam Newton versus Mac Jones in New England. After a rocky first week of the preseason, Cam Newton started to figure it out in his second week against the Eagles. He was not a check-down king, as Eagles defender Kayvon Wallace called him. Newton actually looked decisive and aggressive and pushed the ball downfield. I also liked what I saw out of Mac Jones. I think Patriots fans really liked what they saw from Mac Jones. Watch him play and you'll see a clunky white quarterback with a mediocre arm that moves well in the pocket and has a great sense of timing. All of that shit gets Patriots fans harder than Tom Brady anytime he sees a sugar-free, dairy-free dessert on the menu. Cam Newton is one of the greatest athletes on planet Earth, and still every fan in the greater New England region is losing their shit for McCorkle because he vaguely resembles Tom Brady. Now the Patriots are indicating that Cam Newton will start the regular season, but I almost feel bad for Cam because as soon as it goes downhill, that crowd in New England is going to turn on him quicker than the fall fashion season turns into winter chic. I haven't even mentioned the COVID situation with Cam, which adds a whole other monkey wrench into the QB situation. Cam Newton won't rejoin the team until Thursday, which gives Mac Jones some time to gain ground in the competition. Bill Belichick was asked if this was a big opportunity for Jones, and he replied, "It is, yes." The most loquacious answer he's ever given. I think Mac Jones starts the season, unless he tanks in the final preseason game. But I think there's a better chance there than we initially thought. And finally, San Francisco, we've got Jimmy G versus Trey Lance. Like the Patriots, it seems like the 49ers can't do wrong with whomever they choose as starter. We did get to see Trey Lance play once again, this time against the Chargers, and his second preseason game, the third overall pick, showed off his rocket laser arm and tossed a couple more touchdowns and one pick. And on the other hand, Jimmy Garoppolo overthrew a pass that got picked by Asante Samuel Jr. Another win for the second generation defensive backs. Now, like with a lot of these battles, the 49ers are perfectly aware which quarterback is going to raise their ceiling, and the transition to Trey Lance is just an inevitability. It's just a question of when. But here's the thing, the 49ers ceiling with Jimmy G is, well, a Super Bowl team, as long as everyone does not get hurt. It should also be noted that Nate Sudfeld is the third string QB. We all thought Nick Foles was the key to the Eagles' Super Bowl win, backup Nick Foles, but I think it's Nate Sudfeld. Kyle Shanahan knows that, and as long as he switches starters mid-season, Sudfeld is the guy to get this team the dub in the Super Bowl. From the bench, of course, but a dub nonetheless. Kyle Shanahan has stated that Jimmy Garoppolo will break camp as the starter, and I believe Kyle. But Lance's play is polished enough right now that I think Jimmy's leash will be very short. Looking at their schedule, my guess is the 49ers will turn to Trey Lance week 9 at home against the Cardinals. Exactly when Nate Sudfeld would recommend. Knowing Garoppolo, however, he could get injured tomorrow, and this whole segment could be a moot point. Jimmy G starts the season with a transition plan for Lance. Oh, there you have it. Predictions for your quarterbacks battles this season. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I'm on Twitter at Brandon Perna, Instagram at Brandon Perna, and you can click the video on the screen if you'd like to watch more. Links in the description.